You know what? 61 years of doing this, 70% or more of the Japanese market share. Nihon Puff does a lot of stuff all by hand. It's just the next level type of thing that you wouldn't see in most places that they do here at Nihon Puff. Hello everyone, I am Steve with Steve's POV, and I am in Osaka, Japan. And I am at the Nihon Puff Kabushiki Yaisha, Nihon Puff Corporation. 61 years of history in making powder puffs, sponges, and other makeup-related items like that right here in Japan. I'm gonna tour the factory in a minute, but first I want to introduce you to the president of the company, Mr. Hamada. Hello, Mr. Hamada.
Hello.
How are you? Nice to meet you. We are inside the Nihon Puff Japan Puff powder puff making factory, and this is where the process begins. These large, long rolls of material come in from Nishijin area of Kyoto, and it is known, very famous for its beautiful, high quality material. Comes in these long rolls, where the rolls are then pulled out and then folded over on top of each other to create the foundation for what now comes next over here. This machine is a press, and this is a very old school way. Making powder puffs is not an automated process. You think something is maybe as simple as a powder puff or a sponge used for makeup, just goes into a machine and just gets knocked out. No, not here. Nihon Puff does a lot of stuff all by hand. By the way, depending on who the customer is and depending on who the order is from, the size may be different, the shape may be different. But now they've added a little bit more automation into the process with a larger machine that goes ahead and cuts out several at one time. She then one by one picks out each cutout puff. The material is a velvet, a very soft, very, very fine velvet that is pressed out, stamped, and put here before it moves on to the next step in the production process. What she is doing is taking these two pieces of puff and she is putting them together. She's inserting a ribbon on the inside of there. What comes out of here when she's done now is a very rough form inside out, you see? It's not the soft material here, it's the hard material, the outside material. But what's gonna happen now is you have a ribbon inside. Now they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna flip this inside out, insert a little pillow inside here, and you'll start to see the actual powder puff form take shape. The partially finished puffs come here by hand with wire wheels, two at a time. Look at how she does. She goes one round around the puff. Here's what we started with. A little bit, you can see the stitching. You can see where it was stitched in here. It's kind of sucked in. Now look at it when it comes out. Everything, all that stitch, you don't even know that it's stitched. It looks like it's one piece to begin with. From here, there's a whole nother process that goes on before this becomes a finished product. So let's move on in the factory and see the next step. The next step in the process is, now that you've got the finished puff, what they need to do is make sure there is no contaminants. Well, in contaminants we mean have up needles where she was stitching with, or somewhere in the process if a needle or a piece of metal or something got into that puff, it would be a very bad situation, right? If they're employing a actual metal scanner such as this, where they put every single puff through here, and if anything metal, a needle or anything that's inside there that shouldn't be inside of there, it's gonna beep. It's gonna make a sound just like this. That's a test piece that has a little bit of metal in it to tell you that the machine's doing what it's supposed to do. It's just the next level type of thing that you wouldn't see in most places that they do here at Nihon Puff. Okay, we moved on to a lower floor in the factory, and here in this area is where they're making sponges. They make sponges for all kinds of companies by all different specifications. Depending on the sponge and depending on the customer, there's different types of sponges. This just happens to be one, very soft material. They have some other types of material as well. This goes into the jig. This goes in here. When it comes out, it is now shaped down, you can see, quite a bit smaller. And that process is done by using different stones or diamonds or metal cutters depending on the material used in the sponge. They think about everything here. They will design whatever your specification is that you want for your sponges or your puff right here in their factory, made in Japan by hand. It's unbelievable. You think something like this is simple It's really not. A lot goes into it. A lot of work, a lot by hand, and many, many years of dedication and experience. Unbelievable.